Why hello there, survivors of the zombie apocalypse, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Project Zomboid Arctic, episode 39, Groceries and Gas. I'm gonna stop in Greens, because Greens is a grocery store. I hooked up the Jeep with like a lot of armor and like a battering ram or cattle catcher. And armored up the windows and the wheels and everything. Long ago, there was a dev blog about how they intend to include armored vehicles as a native feature in Zomboid, but like, I haven't seen news of that in forever, so I don't know if that's still part of the dev plan. What's this blue building here? To my south, next to Greens. Post office? Yeah, it's the post office. Okay. Well, if I needed magazines, that would be a good place to go. But I don't. So Greens is mostly fresh produce, so the chance of me finding fatty stuff is lower, but not zero. And it's on the way, so I might as well hit it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe birds like cereal, correct? So if I wanted to trap more birds, I could use cereal? Because that would probably be a net positive amount of nutrients, trading cereal for bird meat, I'd imagine. Ooh, a whole bag of rice. A partially used bag of black beans that got put back on the shelf. I didn't even realize you could find partial stuff like that on vanilla shelves. Greens was pretty good. It had like 20 kilos of dried goods. And some of the back shelves too. In fact, I'll probably fill up here and have to return back to the vehicle. That's how much stuff there is. Gotta say, even with insanely rare loot on, there seems to be a lot on the shelves here. I get that there'd be a lot more if I had my loot set higher. I'm gonna try to make this in a one trip and put things in my backpack. Squirrels like cereal as well, but it's a different type of trap. Yeah, those small stick traps are bird only, if I recall correctly. Well, that was hugely lucrative. No spices, though, but a lot of produce. Not bad at all. I was a little moist from all the sweat, so, you know, I just grabbed the dish towel from out from under the cash register, wiped it up myself off, and put it back. That's not foul, right? The coffee I'm going to keep in... Oh, no, that's dry lentils. The coffee I'm going to keep in the glove box in case I have a low energy crisis while out and about and exploring. And I just need to eat coffee to survive. Alright, we're off. So where's my turn? The gas station would be the first left turn here. So I'll swing by the gas station and then continue on to... oh, this is a road apparently. Continue on to try to get to the grocery store that I think I've already been at. Milk and More. I was looking for a Milk and More. I'm gonna stop here. This is what I was trying to find like last stream. Where I was like, I swear there's a milk store. Which was a lie. It has no, there's no milk so far. Okay, well, it's more like and more, but whatever. It's looted. Oh, that also reminds me, the greens. So, greens was here, done, and Milk and More is here, done. Right, I gotta mark them down that I'm doing them, or I'm just gonna return forgetting that I had done them. You're pretty sure you can trap cheese even when routed? Alright, let's try it. Mice aren't fussy. I also could, get to the level of cooking that allows me to cook with, rotted foods without, you know, dying from it as well. That's a milestone that I'm fast approaching with my cook skill. Now, not fast approaching, but could approach. There's tasty foods here, too. I'm gonna stop. Alright, well, I'm not looting tasty foods yet, but I'll mark it down once I do. There was the need for external lighting, so I'll take that lamp. Oh. Alright. This is like a restaurant. It's not going to have much. Probably. But who knows? Maybe I get lucky. In my experience, restaurants like this have like a few pieces of like rotted meat. That's about it. Especially on rare loot spawn. Or in this case, literally nothing but hand towels. Waste of my time. There we go. A potential idea for another goal would be to find a more reliable vehicle, because the engine quality of this is lower than desirable. Just a thought, if you wanted to submit that as a goal. When I found the van, I was just hoping for anything that wasn't going to break down on me, because my previous vehicle was like one bad collision from being dead. But now we can be a bit choosier. And analyze things like engine quality and engine noise and muffler noise. Mufflers can be swapped, but like engine quality and engine noise is a determining factor for whether or not we use it. It's the yeah, driver's side. I even have fuel side indicators, and I ignored it. I parked so close I can't fit. I was like moonwalking. That good? I made a lot of noise driving around a bunch, just to make sure I'm alone here. Looks good. Oh, and I can't fit. Can I still refuel? Nope. Reminds me of a video I saw that circulated on Reddit months ago of like some lady who like fundamentally could not wrap her head around that her gas tank was on the opposite side of her car. So she kept driving in circles around the two pumps, like over and over and over again. And of course, if you don't change the side that your car is pointing on, it will always be on the other side. And it was like driving her crazy. And she, I don't know if it was a gag or like, you know, scripted, but it looked like she circled for like 5 minutes trying to figure out, wow, it's on the other side. It's like, yeah, because you just keep driving in circles around it. So yeah, your car will always face the same direction. It was hilarious to watch. Yeah, that was risky, but I don't regret it. I just fast-forwarded, filled all tanks, which is a really good way to get bit, but it wasn't a problem. This generator's still 100 to 100, so it doesn't need any more fuel. It is, it's getting a little bit late in the day, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit up the grocery store that I've marked that I had cleared already, which is just down this way, and then turn back. I'm not going to go to the second grocery store. So probably don't have time before night sets in, plus I'm already starting to get drowsy. I don't want to be shoveling vitamins into my mouth. What to do next? So I can continue the spices and fatty food search if you want, or any of these others. Also, I'm lost. Right, left. Okay. Or people searching for the fuel intake on a Tesla. Yeah, that one's hilarious. Or showing up to a garage asking for an oil change for a Tesla. At that point, it's like, because at least if you're trying to refuel your Tesla, there's the small chance that it is a rented vehicle, and like you just don't understand that it's an electric, which is weird, but like I can see that happening. But if you're going for an oil change means that you own the vehicle, because God knows I've never gotten an oil change in a rented car. And if you're showing up to the mechanics for an oil change for a car that you own that doesn't have an engine that requires oil, well, that's a whole level of weird. I think there's a large enough welcoming committee here that I'm going to have to start eating vitamins. There's still parts that need to be greased? Yeah, but you don't need an oil change. An oil change is oil into your engine, which no full electric vehicle ever require. It's actually chiefly one of the reasons why a lot of luxury cars, and I hate this about luxury cars, but why a lot of luxury cars are getting subscriber features, like subscribe to a monthly bill to have your car go faster, or to have heated seats, or whatever. Because as cars are becoming more electric, they're requiring less maintenance. And once upon a time, dealerships made the bulk of their money selling vehicles, but now, because cars last a long time and require less maintenance, they are trying to make up the money that they lose from selling vehicles by maintenance and by also subscription model BS subscription models. With subscription models like, you want heated seats, you have to pay us monthly, or you want to drive fast, you have to pay us monthly. I in no way am ever going to buy a product like that, because it's just ridiculous. But it's because the money that they used to make selling cars is really not their business model anymore. I'm a little exerted and back to drowsy, so I should be careful in here. I'm vulnerable. Trying to get oil for the blinkers? That sounds hilarious. Blinker fluid. I mean, blinker fluid is like a big joke, but what isn't a joke is like a lot of mechanics will also try to sell you. Like, I'm not a car nut. I don't know a ton about auto mechanics, but I do know enough to know that, like, brake fluid flush and transmission flush, like flushes, unless your owner's manual says that you need to get a flush for X amount of time, you know, distance driven or age of the car, flushes aren't a thing that are typically required in the maintenance of the vehicle. The TLDR is like, read the owner's manual of your of the car that you buy, right? And anything that, unless of course you have like a real honest problem, like, yo, I've actually had a brake line leak where I lost brakes during a snowstorm. But yeah, unless you have an honest problem like that, the sort of, oh, it looks like your brake fluid needs to be flushed is really just upselling from a garage, and it's totally BS and is not a needed thing to maintain your vehicle. The TLDR is read the owner's manual, because the owner's manual will tell you exactly what is required in order to maintain your vehicle. So if you don't have a problem and you're being upsold something, just like read the manual, and the manual will tell you, oh yeah, like transmission fluid, that's good for 15 years. And if you're not having a transmission problem, if a garage offers to replace the transmission fluid, despite the fact not having a problem, yeah, they're just pulling the wool over your eyes. I never did it for like individuals, but you know, I know computer hardware and stuff like that, right? I build computers, I maintain computers, I maintain IT networks. It's one of the things I went to school for. And the same sort of garbage is sold to people through computer maintenance too. Oh, it seems to me like you need new like CPU cooler. It's like, yeah, I mean that can be true. But if your CPU isn't overheating and you don't have like CPU coolant leaking all over your motherboard, yeah, no, probably you don't. Probably you don't. Although the caveat is the AIO coolers nowadays like only last for like 2 years. So if you have a liquid cooled CPU, expect to replace it like once every 2 to 3 years anyway. Just because that's the shelf life. So it's getting kind of late in the day, but I would say this run was successful. In fact, so much so that I think I don't have enough storage space on the shelves back home, so I might want to grab one of these shelves on my way out. Because I think we're going to have more food than will fit on the shelves that I've got. If you buy RAM on Amazon, you can pay like $90 to have someone install it for you. Yeah. That one hurts. I've had relatives be like, oh, my computer was running slow, and like the mechanic in town, or the computer repair person in town, like offered to run a malware scan for me for $200. It's like, 200 what? Dude, you could buy a whole new hard drive for your computer for $200. Like, $200 is ridiculous for a malware scan. But, you know, if you don't know, it's gonna be easy to be abused in that way. So, Skillbox seems to be the popular answer. Got it. Although, one time when I was visiting a friend when I was in college, I have no, actually that wasn't in college. It was my landlord had a house guest who had a laptop. And the landlord asked me if I could take a look at the laptop, because the laptop was running slow. And trying to remove the malware from that laptop was like a $200 job. I mean, I didn't charge for it. It was like a favor to my landlord. But the dude that owned that laptop, holy hell, was he going to some sketchy sites. I think probably my guess was he was torrenting, but like didn't understand the inherent dangers of pirating software and the sort of malware that gets coupled with that. Because his computer, like when I booted it up, which took like 15 minutes, and I checked the processes and the percent of the memory and process computing power that was used up by malware, it was like 85% of the computer was viruses. It was like he was a digital bug chaser who just wanted to like collect them all, like computer viruses were Pokemon. And I turned to him and I was like, Chris, whatever you're using this laptop for, like, this thing is like a biohazard. Like, dear, I can fix this for you, but like, dear Lord, it was so bad. Reminds me of me being bad. Yes, I did mark this off. So let me remove this marker because I cleared it. It's is pretty empty now. There is a food mart here, so I'm going to mark down... What's a food icon? Here. No, that's gardening. This looks like an apple, but it also looks like a hand grenade. A burger. So there's like a food mart here. I'll put a burger down. So I'm taking next right. Yeah, exactly. His laptop had... It was malware and Trojan horses all the way down. Like, it was... I've never seen a laptop so bad, and it took me, like, so many hours of trying to remove all the rootkits from his machine. That, yeah, it took me easily $200 worth of maintenance. But for typical people, you know, it wasn't required. Just, yeah, I've never seen a machine like that. Never in my years of maintaining computers. It was honestly impressive. It was as if you spent like a year Googling how to download virus and just, yeah, went down that rabbit hole. It's funny, I did have that worry that I was worried of like any thumb drive that I used to try to transfer data to his laptop could also be compromised. And I realized I didn't grab a shelf, so, you know, oops. But yeah, so like I used essentially a disposable thumb drive and like kind of threw it out at the end. I was like, yep. Data is only going to be transferred one way. I'm going to download virus fighting software to this thumb drive and then throw it the hell out when I was done. Because, yeah, I had no trust that I could wipe that thing clean. In fact, in worst case scenario, maybe you guys didn't know this, but some thumb drives get shipped to you with viruses. It has happened. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened. Which is so heinous. Buying a brand new product and it's already infected. So, I am going to be storing my food like a dragon stores gold. On the floor, in a big pile that I can roll around in. Because I didn't bring home a shelf. You fix computers as a side gig as a student? I've had some haunting experiences as well. Not so much with viruses, but like people going to websites best left unnamed and getting like meme viruses where it puts certain images on your wallpaper of your desktop that are not removable. I don't want to go into any more detail than that because I don't need anyone trying to replicate it for themselves because it's nauseating. But yeah, there are those viruses, and those viruses are particularly unpleasant to remove because they don't really do anything other than like hijack the images of your wallpaper. But they're pretty hard to look at. You had a client like that? Who was an older lawyer that kept going to bad sites and would call you back to clean up his laptop? Yeah, I mean, you know, I've certainly dealt with that. I was working for a rather large company at one point where they had paid for a third party for IT support, but that third party charged more than my salary. And I was a software developer for this company, but then when they learned that I could do like hardware and software and updates and maintenance and stuff like that, they just slowly transitioned some of my responsibilities over to just maintaining the computers of the company to save money so they wouldn't have to pay a third party. And the amount of, like, They were, I mean, some of it was just like viruses that I suspect were sent around as like email attachments and were rather innocuous, but there were some employees that had viruses that you really only could get those viruses going to sketchy sites on company property. But I never really said anything because, you know, I ain't no snitch. So I said nothing and it was never a problem. I just, you know, cleaned it up and then had trouble looking him in the eye. Yep. So 51 kilos. Well, no, some of this is gasoline. So I filled the shelf plus like 46 kilos. It's pretty good. I set the rotted cheese apart. I guess I could put the rotted cheese in the farming shelf because it's farming / trapping at this point. Because I really don't want to eat it because if I am not mistaken, I am prone to illness and weak stomach. So I totally do not want to eat rotted cheese on accident. Sounds like a bad time. Hey, Tumblein, how you doing? You thought, oh, nobody falls for this type of stuff when starting to help people, especially elderly people with computers. Yeah, and I get that. Like, if you think about what computers have done in the last, like, I don't know, since their invention, the amount of sneaky ways to, like, get garbage onto your computer without you knowing has gone up a lot. I think the average computer user probably isn't as much at risk as they were, like, I would say like 5 years ago was like peak virus, or like 6 years ago maybe a little bit longer. I don't even know what year it is. They're generally safer today without constantly running their own antivirus and anti-malware and stuff like that than they were a few years back, because the built-in like Windows Defender and stuff like that does a better job than it used to. Another thing that really bothered me doing computer maintenance back when I did was people installing things like McAfee, thinking they'd be protected, or Norton. And I'm like, oh my god, because, you know, anyone that knows computers would tell you Norton and McAfee were a joke. And then also some other virus programs were like, honestly, just viruses in their own right. I'm not going to name names, but I think we all know what they are. Or if you don't, you can Google them. Like state-sponsored spying tools masquerading as viruses, I'll put it that way. But yeah, every time I would maintain a computer with like McAfee or Norton, I'd be like, yep, you sure are protected from all the zero-day exploits. And by zero-day, I mean 0 day of 10 years ago when they got around to updating it. What antivirus would I suggest buying a subscription to? You know, I'm not sure I could answer that now with any expertise, because I've been out of the game for so long that I haven't like kept up on it. So if I was to buy an antivirus, if I had a problem myself, I would ask some of my friends who have been IT security experts in the last 5 years, because I really haven't done any of that in years now. And if you're out of the game changes quick. If you have goals to suggest, drop me a line in the channel points. And today, oh, I hit the water. I didn't even mean to. I was just trying to right click to get the dig furrow. So now I have holy water. I've blessed it with an accidental click. Whoops. This has 37 hours left on it, but I think probably a good task for me to do today would be to cut down some more trees, because I basically don't have any more fuel in the base for the stove. So right now I'm just doing some basic base maintenance stuff. I'm going to repair the generators up top and then go get fuel for the furnace. I'm going to call it a furnace. And then you guys can propose goals. And I'll get to reading. All right, this generator is 100%, so we'll start using that one. %, and 100%. 3 generators, and they're all perfect. Just about. This time going out to collect more wood, I'm going to bring wood glue, because I think my axe is going to break. In fact, I pretty much know the axe is going to break. It's very worn out. And if I'm heading down to the traps area again, I will bring a box of cereal and cabbage. I don't have traps that would use the cheese. So I'm not going to bother with that just yet. Oh, no, there's a little bit more fuel here. Let me burn this fuel, and then I'll go fetch some new stuff. I'm glad that zombies aren't attracted to light. So there's no penalty for illuminating, like, your outside. I didn't get cabbage, did I? Nox, you said you get Kaspersky ads on Reddit? Oh. Yeah, I might have been referencing Kaspersky a little bit. But who knows nowadays, man? The world is in a pretty devastating cyber war. It's just not spoken about very often. This might be the first time I've driven down here where there wasn't oh, no, never mind, I take it back. I was gonna say, first time zombies aren't hanging out in my park, but nope, there they are. As reliable as the sun rises in the east. Zombies infesting my park. And like a lot of them. This must be a chunk edge border point where they converge here. I'm guessing for coding and calculation ease, zombies, in order to migrate and sort of create what looks to be a bit of an equilibrium. So they don't cluster into like mega hordes and they don't thin out. The way it works is they converge and merge into small groups, and then those small groups wander. But they typically, what they end up happening is they will initially converge at the edge of a new zone, or the edge of like zones. So there's a tendency that at the corner of chunks, and maybe this is a corner of chunk. I'm going to check real quick if my theory is correct. Oh, how do I see the chunk map? Overlay. Whatever. I'm not going to do it now. But if you're at the edge of multiple chunks that converge, you can often see the zombies sort of cluster into groups like that. Thank you for tuning in to Project Zomboid Arctic, which originally streamed live on Twitch May 25th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. Hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow zombie slayers.